Welcome back to 24 Days of Personal Branding. Today, we're going to figure out your personal brand voice. It's day 9 of 24 Days of Personal Branding and episode 102 of the PrettyAF Powerhouse podcast. Okay, so we've created a lot of things already, being it's day 9 now. So you should be getting even more and more clear on what your personal brand is. And now you're ready to create your brand voice. So what that is basically what your personality is, how you're presenting it to the world. It should be consistent through all marketing, all client-facing things, even internally a lot of times. It's so you can be consistent with your voice, whether it's actually you creating the content or if you have an assistant or you're working with an agency. Your brand voice is the brand personality in all communications, no matter where it is. It should be unique to you and it should be consistent. And it's one of the things that's going to help you stand out and for people to, when they see a piece of your content, before even seeing your name, they're going to know it's from you. Being recognizable as a brand is going to help increase revenue. It's also going to help increase consistency across teams. If you're thinking about, or you currently already have a team, being able to have other people create content that still sounds like you. I hear this a lot with people I start working with is they've worked with people and you could just tell it wasn't them. And getting clear on this and having it written down as a place that people that work with you can reference is going to really help you be able to scale and still sound like yourself, even if you didn't actually create the content. According to CrowdSpring, 90% of potential customers expect to have a similar brand experience across different platforms. So you or your company should sound the same on social media and email and communications. And even if you have physical packaging, it should all sound the same, like it's coming from the same core person, right? Even if it's not actually. And this is how you do that, along with everything else that goes into your personal brand, of course. It will also help you be strategic about connecting with your ideal audience. Also, according to CrowdSpring, your company's voice should resonate with your audience and be used to build trust. In the US market, 46% of consumers prefer to buy from brands that they can trust. So being consistent with the same voice, the same message, the same style, personality, that's all going to help you build trust because you're being consistent. People know who you are. They know what they can expect from you. And that's going to help build that loyalty because people will start trusting you because they'll register if something's from you, who you are, what you really stand for, especially if you're being so strategic about what you're putting out there. Having your personal brand voice is also going to help you be consistent in all of your content consistently throughout time, consistently throughout different channels. And again, that's whether you're doing it or you have a team of some sort. It also gives you a clear direction when you're going to create content. If there's clear guidelines of this is how we speak, this is not things we would do or say, it makes it a lot easier to stay in that box versus there's just like a world of possibilities and things that you could do. So let's get into actually creating your brand voice. I want you to gather from the previous trainings your values, your audience, and that mood board that you created. So the example I'm going to share with you to kind of help you understand what I'm talking about is a beauty influencer. So let's say that her values are beauty, fun, and being trustworthy. Now, your values might overlap with your brand voice. I'm gonna share how that can kind of work. But they can also be a little different. So let's say her values is a beauty influencer where beauty, fun, and being trustworthy. Her audience is women that are interested in self-care and makeup. I just kept it very simple. Ideally, your audience is more descriptive, right? So once you gather everything, your values, your audience details, and you pull up your mood board, I want you to create a do and don't list to help narrow down what your potential brand voice core words could be. So, for example, for the beauty influencer, if you're just reviewing what you have with your audience, your values, your mood board, and maybe she says, okay, so my things are beauty, fun, trustworthy. I work with women that are interested in self-care and makeup. So just off the top of my head, I'm not going to talk about products that I don't actually use, don't actually love. I'm going to make all of my content upbeat and fun. I'm going to give honest reviews. I'm going to mainly talk about beauty products and things to do related to beauty. So I'm not going to randomly have a cooking reel, right? And I want everything to be girly and feminine style. So once you have that, you can then come up with words to describe what your brand voice is. And these are a couple questions that'll help you figure that out. So, how do you want your clients or customers to feel when they either work with you or they come across a piece of your content on social media or get an email from you? How do you want them to feel when they get that? Okay. Next question. What do you want your tone of voice to be? So, how do you want to come across, right? Do you want to sound like you're yelling at them? Do you want to sound like you're like a drill sergeant? Is that your style? Do you want to sound like you're friendly and welcoming? If you look at different personal brands or business brands, you'll see that the way they come across is very different. So getting clear on this is really going to help you narrow down what that is for you and get clear on being intentional about how you're showing up. When people think about you, what do you want them to think? So do you want them to think you're friendly? Do you want them to think you're an authority figure and straight to the point? I remember I worked with one client and all of his pictures, he had a very straight face, like he wasn't smiling at anything. And there's studies about having your profile picture show your eyes looking forward and smiling, that it helps people connect with you, basically, and builds trust. And I told him that, and he was like, Azalee, that is not my brand. And he was right. That wasn't. If you met him in person, he would not be all smiley and bubbly. So it actually made more sense for him to have a picture that he wasn't smiling. So even details like that, it's going to go into making that decision when you are clear on what your brand voice is. Where was I? What do you not want people to think about you? So if a lot of times you could think about like certain brands or people that you just don't vibe with, that you're like, I would never want someone to think that about me. What are those things? Because that'll help you also get more clear on what your brand voice is. And then finally, how would you describe yourself? So would you describe yourself as outgoing, shy? Would you describe yourself as caring, charismatic? Would you say you try to connect different people? Would you say you're very creative? So whatever comes to mind, the more things with all these questions that you can put down, the more it's going to help you really get clear on what your voice is. So once you have all of that, and again, if you sign up for the actual challenge, you will get a workbook that breaks this all down so you can go through it at your own pace and also see all the questions and everything I'm referencing in a document and get the replay. So now that you have all that, you're going to choose 2 to 5 personality traits. So I have a list that, again, in the workbook, you'll get them. So I'll just go through a few of them to kind of give you an idea. And again, they can overlap with your values. So adventurous, ambitious, approachable, bold, brave, bright, bubbly, calm, casual, charming, edgy, elegant, fearless, fun, helpful, high-end, honest, innovative, intentional, inviting, joyful, magical, modern, playful, positive, professional, quirky, relaxed, timeless, wild, whimsical. So these are the types of words that you want to use to describe your brand voice. And I want you to pick 2 to 5 of them that you're like, okay, I want all of my content to have this consistent voice. So for my example of the beauty influencer, that her values were beauty, fun, trustworthy. So her brand voice traits, I chose bubbly, approachable, and genuine. So once you have those, again, like you did with the values, I want you to describe them in relation to your personal brand. So if we say bubbly, I would say all content is upbeat and happy, where a place people can come to be happy. So that's pretty clear. We're not going to be talking about sad things on that channel or any of our platforms. We're not going to talk down about anyone, right? And then for each one, I want you to write a do and don't list to get even more clear, especially as you're growing and building a team, of things that you don't do in any of your content and things that you definitely want to do. So for bubbly, I put do, smile, wear bright colors, be positive. Don't talk poorly about brands or people, and don't be negative. So that's a lot more clarity than just saying, well, we're a happy brand, right? So the next one that I chose was approachable. So the definition I put for that is use language that's common, be welcoming, and ask for people to engage. So in their content, they're going to say things like, if you have any questions about this, comment below or DM me and I'll answer you. So actually engaging with their audience, because that's a part of their brand. If you're more of a exclusive high-end brand, you're probably not going to say that, right? If you're like, I only talk to my top clients that starts at this high level mastermind or something like that, then you're not going to have content that is like that because it doesn't make sense with each other, right? So for the approachable trait, for the do's, I said encourage people to comment, ask, share, and ask questions. Don't talk down to anyone in the audience. So it wouldn't really make sense for that type of personal brand to start a Twitter war with someone, right? That also guides you if you're having people manage your comments or DMs, is to say, we don't talk down to anyone and we encourage people to comment and engage with us. So your team that is managing that should know that. So they know how to respond to people. If you're asking for comments, you're going to want to respond to people if being approachable is a part of your brand. If you ask people to comment and then you never respond to them, it's like, why did you ask them to comment, right? And then for the last one, being genuine. For the definition, I said, be honest in all reviews, only share products you actually use. If you don't currently use it, then be honest about that. So it's saying it's okay to review things that you never used before, but don't say, oh, I've been using this for a year. It's why my skin's clear. Be honest about that and only be reviewing it for the actual current experience. And then for the do's and don'ts, I said, be honest, share products you actually use. Don't give a positive review for something you don't use. And don't review things that you hate. So if your brand is all about being positive and uplifting and that type of thing, it wouldn't make sense for you to review something you know you don't like and talk negatively about it. So these are going to help you make those kind of decisions, especially as you grow and maybe different brands approach you and ask to work with you. That's going to help you. So in the workbook, there is a template you can use to fill this out to answer these questions. And then to actually use it, you're going to want to share it with anyone creating content for you. So you're going to want to have that. Later on, we will put it within all of our other stuff. So it'll be easy to get to everything and share it all in one document. But for now, if you want to share this with your team, just so that they start getting on the same page, you can do that, or you can wait till you have everything. And then whenever you're creating content or your team's creating content, you just want to reference this so that you can keep in mind these things that you decided and keep that consistent brand voice across all platforms and time, right? So that you can build that trust, build that positioning as an authority, and that you're consistently the same message. People know what to expect from you and they can trust that from you. So if you have any questions, comment inside of the actual challenge inside my website. You can sign up. I'm going to put the link in the description and it's free. I just need your email and your name, and you will get access to all the replays and all the workbooks for this. So like I said in the last one, we're now doing these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'll go live Tuesdays and Thursdays inside the Facebook group. And then either later that day or the next day, I will upload the replay onto the PrettyAF Powerhouse podcast and into the actual challenge on my website with the workbook. But that is everything. If you want more support, I still have spots open for Karma, my mastermind. My one-on-one program is full. So the way to work with me next year right now is in that mastermind. It's a done with you service. So I'll guide you through creating all these things. And then I will actually look at everything you're doing and walk you through how to make it better. And answer any of your questions one-on-one inside of there. And it'll have a community atmosphere with group Voxer support and group hot seat coaching calls. So if you're interested in that, be sure to click the link and apply. And that's all I have for now. I'll be back on Tuesday with day 10. All right. Bye, guys.